morning or good evening or whenever you're watching this. It's morning for us. Um, Welcome to In as Well, and today we're doing another hour of the Passion. We'll be doing this all week in honor of Holy Week, just to help us um, soak up as much as we can in this Holy Week. And I'm here with Sarah. Hi, Sarah. And so today we're doing part of the fourth hour. And the fourth hour in the Hours of the Passion is about the institution of the Most Blessed Sacrament. But we're going to focus today on the washing of the feet. We know that on Holy Thursday, this is a very um, profound and sacred um, thing that we do as we begin our Triduum of Easter, and it has many, many powerful lessons for us. So I'm going to go ahead and start the reading, and we will be hearing what Jesus has to say about this also as he uh, washes the feet of the disciples. And again, uh, written by Louisa, given to Louisa by Jesus. And the fourth hour starts at 8 p.m. And Louisa says, "My sweet Jesus, love is ever inexhaustible. I see that as you finish the legal supper with your dear disciples, you stand up and, along with them, raise a hymn of thanksgiving to the Father for having given you food. In this hymn, you offer reparation for souls who fail to give thanks to God for all the things He gives them and that sustain their health. Oh, Jesus, this is why in everything you do, touch, or see, you always have on your lips the words, 'Thanks be to you, O Father.' I too, united with you, Jesus, take the words from your very lips, and always and in all things I say, thank you for myself and for all, in order to continue to offer reparation for souls who fail to give thanks to God." And now we come to the washing of the feet. Oh, my Jesus, it seems that your love has no respite. I see that you have your beloved disciples again sit down. You take a basin of water, wrap a white cloth around your waist, and prostrate yourself at their feet. You do so with a gesture so humble that it draws the attention of all the heavenly inhabitants and enraptures them. The apostles themselves remain almost motionless in seeing you prostrate at their feet. But tell me, my love, what is it you desire? What do you intend to do through such a humble act? An act of humility never before seen and which will never be seen. Jesus says, "Oh, my child, I seek out all souls and prostrate at their feet like a poor beggar. I am asking, persisting, and crying out to them as I devise loving stratagems to win them over. Prostrate at their feet with this basin of water mixed with my tears, I desire to wash them of all imperfection and prepare them to receive me in the most blessed sacrament. I so much cherish this act of them receiving me in the Eucharist that I do not want to entrust this office to the angels, nor even to my dear mother, but I myself want to purify them in their innermost fibers and dispose them to receive the fruit of the sacrament. I intend through the apostles to prepare their souls. I intend to offer reparation for all holy works and for the administration of the sacraments, especially by priests, that are carried out with a spirit of pride, without a divine disposition, and with tepidness. Oh, how many good works reach me more to dishonor me than to honor me, more to embitter me than to please me, more to give me death than to give me life. These are the offenses which sadden me most. Ah, yes, my child, count all of the most intimate offenses they commit against me and offer me reparation with my own will. Console my embittered heart." Would you like to read some?
Sure. I mean, would you like to talk a little bit
Well,
about this part?
yeah, I really want to talk about this part because these are the only words of Jesus about the washing of the feet in the hours of the Passion. And of course, what that draws my attention to immediately is the sacrament of confession. Is that what you were thinking too as we were reading through?
I was, yes, I was thinking that too with the, washing us of all of our imperfections. But I was also thinking of how many times I'm guilty of doing something that may seem uh, like it's a good gesture, but possibly being a selfish gesture on my part, like that, to think that that hurts Jesus as much as sin. Our um, are wanting to do something not for his glory, but for our own, or,
Right, a
look good.
prideful gesture. Yeah,
Yeah.
it can become a prideful gesture. You know,
Yeah.
um, this is the thing is, everything we hear, everything we read, everything that comes out of the divine will is about love and sacrifice. And of course, the washing of the feet, when they say that the disciples had never seen anything like this before, certainly a rabbi never went around and washed people's feet. Washing of the feet was pretty common in their culture because the roads were dusty, people were dirty when they came to someone's house. And so the servant, the least person in the house, would wash the feet of the guests. And so for the rabbi to wash the feet of the guests, or for the master of the house to wash the feet of the guests, was just unheard of, just would not have happened. And so this must have been actually a little shocking for the um, the the disciples. In fact, didn't Peter say, "You'll never wash my feet"? And Jesus told him, "Well, if you love me, you let me wash your feet." And then Peter said, "Well, okay," in Peter's usual manner, to say, "Well, wash me all over then." Um, so this was um, sort of a symbol of humility and purification. He said, "Don't come to the supper, don't come to the supper dirty. Don't come to the Eucharist dirty." And
And the Bible speaks upon that too. I can't remember the verse right now. I don't know, maybe First Corinthians or First Thessalonians. I'm not sure. But you know,
goes first. Yeah.
yeah. when when you if you were to eat and drink of the Eucharistic supper without discerning yourself, you could possibly be eating and drinking judgment upon yourself,
Oh, absolutely.
you know?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so I think the sacrament of confession, or the sacrament of penance, sacrament of reconciliation, um, it's been lost, you know? And I remember it was before COVID, maybe 5 years ago. The poor priest would be sitting in the confessional for like an hour before church, and nobody would be coming in. Like, he made a statement in his homily, like, I haven't seen a lot of you. Myself, that was myself included. But and now, after COVID, I think everybody's realized like the importance of confession,
Mhm.
regular confession, because now you need to either be there before confession starts to be in the line that is going to actually see the priest, or you need to make an appointment.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think, when you have something taken away from you, it makes it more precious, and I think people have really come to understand that confession has been taken away from us, mass has been taken away from us, and quite possibly we're not done with that yet. I foresee a day when that becomes unavailable, um, to us once again. It's very possible, and so um, this idea of purification and um, being clean as we come to this most holy sacrament is so important. And for Jesus to take this great a step, which in that
yes.
culture at that time was an extraordinary thing to do, just to um, accentuate the point that you're to be the servant and you're to be pure and you're to help purify others. This is the other thing that the disciples certainly, you know, Jesus is he's so full of love. He's so incredible that he's teaching these men literally right up to the bitter end, right to the bitter end, because he feels certainly this urgency. Um, they've been so slow to grasp what he was saying, and maybe prematurely he was being taken from them. Um, he's really trying to impress on them in every way that he can. And this was a pretty radical way when you consider the culture and what was happening. So let's go on and continue reading Louise's words. And there's a few more of Jesus's words in this reading as well. So do you want to read, Sarah?
Yes, yes, I will.
My
Oh
voice is.
my afflict
Go ahead.
Oh my afflicted good, I make your life my own, and together with you I intend to repair for all of these offenses. I want to enter into the most intimate places of your divine heart and repair with your own heart for the most intimate and secret offenses which you have received from your dearest one. O my Jesus, I want to follow you in everything, and together with you I want to go through all the souls who are about to receive you in the Eucharist, enter their hearts, and place my hands together with yours to purify them. Please, O Jesus, with these tears of yours and this water with which you washed the feet of the apostles, let us wash the souls who must receive you. Let us purify their hearts. Let us inflame them and shake off the dust with which they are dirtied, so that, when they receive you, you may find them in your satisfactions instead of in your bitternesses. But my affectionate good, while you are all intent on washing the feet of the apostles, I look at you, and I see another sorrow which pierces your most holy heart. These apostles represent all the future children of the Church, and each of them the series of each one of your sorrows, in some weaknesses, in some deceits, in one hypocrisies, in the other the excess love for interests. In St. Peter, the lack of firmness in all of the offenses of the leaders of the Church. In St. John, the offenses of your most faithful ones. In Judas, all of the apostates, with all the series of great evils which they commit. Your sorrow is suffocated by pain and by love, so much so that, unable to contain it, you pause at the feet of each apostle and burst into tears, praying and repairing for each one of these offenses, and impetrating the most appropriate remedy for all. My Jesus, I too unite myself to you. I make your prayers, your reparations, and your appropriate remedies for each soul my own. I want to mix my tears with yours, that you may never be alone, but may always have me with you to share in your pains. Would you like to read any
Sure.
more?
Okay. But sweet love of mine, as you continue to wash the feet of the apostles, I see that you are now at Judas's feet. I hear your labored breath. I see that you not only cry, but sob. And as you wash these feet, you kiss them and press them to your heart. Unable to speak because your voice is stifled with sobs, you look at him with eyes welled up with tears and say to him from your heart, my child, oh please, I beg you, with the voice of my tears, do not go to hell. Give me your soul, which I ask of you, prostrate at your feet. Tell me, what is it you seek? What do you search for? I will grant you everything you seek, but do not allow yourself to be lost. Oh, please spare me, your God, this sorrow. And I have to stop right here and say, who of us would look at the person that we are about to be murdered, betrayed by? He might as well have stuck the knife in his heart right then, because he really is the catalyst that led to Jesus's murder. Who of us would look at our murderer and say, "Please, please, I'm begging of you, save your
What do you
soul.
want? What can I
What do you
give
want?
you?
What can I give you? Um,
Not to save himself, but to
no,
save
to save
Judas.
that soul, to save him. He wasn't really worried about saving himself. He was willing to die, ready to die, but he was sobbing over the loss of this one soul. And I think that it's a great meditation to realize that that God does not want to lose one soul. Jesus is stricken by the idea of losing one soul, and fusing our acts, doing our acts in his holy will, saves souls. And this is really all he's about. He wants each one of us to be with him in eternity. Um, who creates a child just to have for one short period of time? No one. They want their children with them forever. Sarah, you have 4 children. You know that you would want your children with you forever. You want to see your children in heaven. You want to spend eternity with your husband and your children, because that's your love. This is where this love pours out. Um, and Jesus felt no less for Judas than he did for anyone.
I don't think we could ever love as Jesus loves.
No.
And that's what we're shown each time that we meditate on the passion of Jesus, because he he poured out so much in every single act. He was so um, thoughtful of everything that he did, that he wanted to make reparations for even the smallest account. And I think this ties in so beautifully with the Divine Mercy, especially the Divine Mercy Chaplet. If even one hardened sinner were to pray that chaplet, then he would gain graces.
Yes.
And our God is such a loving God. Like, even from creation, if you think about other religions, Greeks or Roman with Zeus, and um, uh, maybe like the Hawaiian religion, where creation is just kind of like a byproduct of either chaos or war or lust, like it's a byproduct of a sin. God did not We are not a byproduct. God formed Adam from the dirt with purpose, with an intent of having Adam and Eve live with him in the garden forever, which is and even his casting us out of the garden, it was for our good, because he couldn't have Adam and Eve eating from the tree of life and living forever in their sin. Like, everything that God did was just so loving and thoughtful.
He wanted to draw us back in. He wants to draw us back in because he knows living in our own world, we are sort of run amok.
That's a very nice way of putting it.
Yeah, I call it self-will run riot. We are we just run amok. We're just uh, inspired by our every whim and want and what we think we need. Um, needy, needy, needy. Somebody used to say to me, Debbie, you're the neediest person I know. Oh, I need this, I need that. I'm going to buy this because I need this. And you learn that really what you really need is Jesus. What you really need is this is his will in your life, his will in your being, so that you can begin to use this will he gave us rightly. And Jesus does it rightly. So, and I think the other thing that came to mind as you were speaking is this is what is so beautiful about reading the Hours of the Passion, is that each lesson in the Hours of the Passion, each hour has another nugget, another treasure that we can sort of dig into of what Jesus was showing us and telling us and giving to us by his passion and his death and his resurrection. We can see that each hour, each of these things had Although I do want to clarify that hours of the Passion don't go into the resurrection, but each lesson is so beautifully given to Louisa for our sake, so that we can really begin to understand, number one, the sacrifice that Jesus made and what it truly did and what it truly meant. And number two, to show us how we can fuse our will, fuse with Jesus for all souls. It's not for ourselves, it's for all souls. And praise God, our souls are saved in the process. When we're acting in God's will, we can be, assured that Jesus was without sin. I'm not saying that we become without sin, but what I am saying is that we begin to use our will rightly, and um, uh, so we can advance in holiness, and we can be assured of heaven. Um,
Well, it's like Saint Bridget said in her 15 prayers of Saint Bridget of Sweden,
let's
you
say,
know, yeah, um, teach me to follow your commandments with love, because that's how we can do it perfectly. Is, if we love God, if you love someone, you don't want to offend them. You
right,
want them to be happy, and their happiness becomes your happiness. And so it's, again, that's what we spoke about the other day, was like, God is just overflowing with love, and we are part of that overflowing of love. And I'm sorry, I forgot the point I was trying to make.
that's okay. You made a good point. Okay, so we have one more paragraph. I just want to go ahead and finish this last paragraph, because again he talks about um, uh, uh, the callousness of Judas. Um, this is Louisa actually speaking. And again, you press those feet to your heart, but in seeing the callousness of Judas, your heart is cornered. Your heartache stifles your voice, and you are about to faint. My heart and my life, allow me to sustain you in my arms. I understand that these are the loving devices you use with every obstinate sinner. Oh, please, love of my heart, I beg you to allow me to go around the earth with you as you partake in your passion and offer reparation for the offenses you receive from souls who are obstinate in not wanting to convert. Wherever there are obstinate sinners, let us give them your tears to soften them, and your kisses and loving embraces to bind them to you in such a way that they cannot escape. In this way, you will be consoled in your pain over the loss of Judas. So Louisa is telling us, you know, use me, be with me, let me go with you as you soften these obstinate hearts, because these obstinate hearts offer such pain. But I have seen with my own eyes the conversion of an obstinate heart to Jesus. And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. It was, in fact, with my own father. And it was just such a glorious thing to watch, that Jesus could soften a heart that had not been against God, certainly, but against this idea of humbling yourself to Jesus, and knowing that Jesus really is the pathway to God. Jesus said, "No one comes to the Father but through me." No one gets to God without Jesus. Um, and and we get to Jesus through his mother. What a beautiful passageway we have. What a beautiful path we have to um, uh, have a relationship with God, our creator. And so this is just a beautiful, his heartache. She says that his heartache is so great, he's about to faint. He just is so uh, bereft at the loss of Judas, one soul. But we have to remember too, Judas lived with him for 3 years. He loved
Yeah,
him. He loved him like a
yeah.
brother. But he loves each of us that way, doesn't he, Sarah? Yeah. Uh, so we hope that you will. We hope that you will join us again tomorrow for another hour of the Passion, and we will be uh, possibly this next one is very long, so we will be doing another hour of the Passion. We'll be doing this every day through Friday, and I hope that you're enjoying these. Please leave a comment or question or anything that you would, as we go through this, if a question comes up in your mind or a comment comes up in your mind, please go ahead and leave your question or your comment because uh, we do read the comments, we do read the questions, and I want to address any of those that you have. Also, just any ideas or requests that you have for the channel. I guess I'm kind of thinking about what Jesus said is, what do you want? What do you need? What do you want? What do you need? What would you like us to do? I'm hoping that, Sarah and I will be together this week, and I'm hoping to coax Sarah onto the channel more. I know you guys love Sarah, but Sarah has 4 children. You'll see that Sarah is muted. That's because 2 of her 4 children woke up unexpectedly very early this morning, and so you could hear them in the background. The baby, especially, it cries out once in a while. The baby is not being neglected. She has people taking care of her, but uh, yes, we really love. It's a mission of love for us to bring these to you and share the hours of the Passion. And if you don't have the hours of the Passion or read the hours of the Passion, and don't have a book, there's a book, The Hours of the Passion. It's online. You can go online and read and meditate on these writings because they are a beautiful, beautiful way. In the divine will, we are called to read the hours of the Passion every single day, some portion of the hours of the Passion every single day, because Jesus said that reading the hours of the Passion saves souls. Just a reading of the hours saves souls. And so we have this opportunity to work in tandem through Jesus, with Jesus, as he saves souls by our act done in his will of reading the hours of the Passion. So this is a great gift. This is a really a miraculous gift that God has given to us to be um, uh, with him and work for him, to help him. Because remember, our acts, and as we're saying this, they affect everything past, present, and future because God is not in time. God is outside of time. And so, of course, our little pea brains can't understand it, but everything is happening all at once for all time. And so,
I would like to add as a personal note, I plead with everyone, even if you're listening to it from online, there are websites where there's somebody reading it to you. Our Especially in the nation of America, our brothers and sisters need our help.
yes.
We are going through where sin abounds, grace abounds even more, but we need to be receptive of that grace. And I'm a great sinner myself. Every single day I fail multiple times. And but I can't imagine the families that don't have God, and to think that if you read even just a paragraph a day, like if you can't make it through a whole hour and you just read a paragraph a day, every word saves the soul. And
Mhm.
we'll know in heaven, what our actions have really done. But
Yes. That's so true, Sarah. And it does say every word saves a soul. And it also says that if just one soul were to, in a city, were to do this, it would save the city. Um, and we know that God's words are true. When Jesus speaks, when he tells us something, this is true. Our job is to, number one, have faith. Faith is the substance of things not seen. Um, we we have to have faith that
Yes.
what Jesus is telling us is true. And so
Yes.
we read the hours, um, following the command of Jesus, but also knowing that this act done in the divine will literally saves souls. And as you say, Sarah, our country especially needs it so desperately. We see every day how we're falling and falling and falling, and we haven't hit bottom yet.
No.
We haven't hit bottom yet. So, um,
Debbie, could you real quick, in order to act in the divine will, there are certain guidelines that we need to have, right? So one of them is to be in a state of grace. What else do we need?
desire it.
Okay.
Desire it. That's it. If you want to live in the divine will, desire it. Um, and say, it's a very simple formula to say, Jesus wants to wash the dishes. Jesus wants to change a diaper. Jesus wants to go to work. Jesus wants to, whatever it is we're doing, if we can begin to consciously uh, connect our act, whatever we're doing, and do it in Jesus' will. Because, I always say, what's God's will for me today? God's will for me today is to do what's in front of me to be done. This is God's will for me today. And if there's a question about, do I do this or do I do that? We can stop and um, discern. And even if we did the wrong thing in Jesus's will, Jesus says it doesn't matter. Um, Even if we forget to like thoughtfully do it in the divine will, he says our goodwill matters. When we're doing something in goodwill, he knows we're not perfect. He knows we'll fail. He knows we'll fail this, to consciously do this act in the divine will. But he respects our goodwill and accepts our goodwill. So, of course, we want to do things consciously in the divine will, but as we do it more and more and more, it becomes just our way of life. And so it takes a lot of conscientious effort in the beginning, but trust me, this becomes more and more um, normal for us as we go along. But the only thing that you have to do to receive the divine will, to live in the divine will, is desire it and to be in a state of grace. That's it. So, if you want to learn more about that, I have left. I know it's in teeny tiny letters there, but I have left my email on the screen. Please feel free to email me if you want more information about the divine will or how to learn about the divine will, or want to contact me about anything. That's fine. I'm always happy to hear from people. I do teach Cynicals. Um, uh, every week we have a cynical where we read, maybe we're reading the Hours of the Passion or one of the other volumes. There's 36 volumes plus the Hours of the Passion plus the Book of Heaven with the Blessed Virgin Mary. So there's much material available. There's over 10,000 pages of uh, uh, the books that Jesus gave to Louisa. And so we wonder sometimes why her cause is so slow. Well, it's 10,000 pages. Look at the Divine Mercy Diary. The Divine Mercy Diary is a big book, but it's not 10,000 pages. So yes, and we know that Jesus wants everyone to live in His will. And so we thank you so much for watching. Truly, truly, I appreciate every single one of you that support this channel. And we're kind of a teeny tiny little channel here. We're just trying to reach as many people as we can, and so all of you are truly appreciated. We hope that you're having a blessed and holy week, and we will see you again tomorrow. Bye bye.